comes. The gospel of Jesus. The crucified and resurrected Jesus, his message comes by some Christian to this family. And instead of an idol, it's exchanged for the person of Jesus Christ. So take away your idol, and you have the person of Jesus now at work in your life. By law, everyone else starts worshiping him. At the same time this happens, his status goes from one of standing in the community to one of shame. He's already shamed because instead of worshiping an idol like everyone else does, he's worshiping the crucified Jewish Messiah. So shame is brought on this household. The major motivator comes crashing down on this household because this guy believes that Jesus is Lord, and I'll take the gun. So no longer is he ruling by force anymore. I'll give you a cannoli. Get the cultural reference? Take the gun, leave the cannoli? All right, no one's seen that. This person starts following Jesus, and as part of that, the household starts to change. I mean, they have questions about themselves. And Paul in this passage, he doesn't break down the structure. That's what we want him to do. We want Paul to come out and say, slavery is bad, hierarchy in relationships is bad. Paul doesn't necessarily come out and do that. What he does is he says, now you're following Jesus. And so you've got to start worshiping together. And this passage doesn't actually start with submit to each other out of reverence for Christ. It's part of a sentence that starts earlier that talks about worship in the church. And so the whole thing that this passage is talking about, how do we be family together now that Jesus is Lord in this household? How do we show the world that Jesus, the resurrection power of Jesus, is at work in this family? One of the things that it would have meant for this family is that instead of him just having dinners with the other Dons, right, and everyone else being kind of left out of the picture, one of the most important repetitive communal acts that they did and that we do is that they would have a meal together, right? And one of the things that Christians do when they get together is they break bread together and they take the cup in the name of Jesus. So immediately, this family that was stratified in all sorts of ways starts to eat together. It's one of the most radical things that they can do. And so Jesus comes to this household, and Paul talks to both the vulnerable and the powerful and says, this is what it means for you now that Jesus is here, now that Jesus is part of this household, now that the resurrection power of Jesus is at work in these relationships. All right, give these guys a hand. Keep it going.